Hey, this is Miles with another classic game review. Today, let's take a look back at the Simpsons Arcade game. Developed by Konami, The Simpsons was released in the arcades back in 1991. Since then, it has been re-released for the Commodore 64, MS-DOS, and most recently the Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. So, as the Simpson family is walking aimlessly in downtown Springfield, Waylon Smithers steals a diamond from a local jewelry store. He bumps into Homer and sends the jewel flying, only to be caught by Maggie. So, Smithers steals Maggie, and the Simpson family pursues him throughout Springfield. It might seem odd that Smithers would steal a diamond to get a jewel to Mr. Burns, but keep in mind that this game was made during the second season, when the characters of the show haven't been fully developed yet. Alright, now we get to the good stuff. The gameplay of the Simpsons arcade game is your standard beat-em-up game that Konami was known for making back in the early 90s. In fact, the game uses the same engine as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, so the gameplay is very similar. You use one button to jump, and one button to attack. Yep, it's that simple. The gameplay for the most part wasn't in depth, but the Simpsons arcade game had a few features that set it apart from standard beat-em-ups. For one thing, you could pick up items and use them for a limited time. You could pick up bowling balls and mailboxes to throw at enemies. Hammers and mops lying around could be used to bash goons upside the head. The coolest feature is the ability to do team attacks. By standing next to a character, they'll join together for a group attack. For instance, Bart and Lisa would hold hands and run around screaming. Trust me, having kids running around screaming is more painful than the game makes it out to be. Using team attacks helps defeat hordes of enemies, but bosses are another story. Most of the time, they can knock you out of it. There are two mini-games that you can play after stages, the balloon pumping one, and the one where you slap your character in the face to wake them up. You basically mash buttons, so, like the rest of the game, it's mindless but fun. Like I said, this game was made well before the show matured to what it is today. But even aspects that are already established in the show were completely ignored in this game. Most tavern looks like anything except a bar. First off, you enter the stage through a crypt elevator. Go-go dancers, arcade machines, and the late Bleeding Gums Murphy make it seem more like an exotic club. It seemed that the developers just got a vague description of what the show was about when making this game. Besides the weird settings, the enemy designs were also quite strange in their own right. I still don't understand why we'd fight a wrestler at the end of downtown Springfield. You get attacked by your standard goons in suits, rejects from the Thriller music video, a giant bowling ball, a kabuki master, flying saxophones, and more. The list goes on and on. This game had some of the craziest character designs, which really fit the zany mood of The Simpsons. While some part of the games are completely made up, it's nice to see some references to the show. Many familiar faces such as Terry, Otto, Sideshow Bob, and even that boy that only appears in the episode Moaning Lisa make an appearance. There are even references to Matt Groening's Life in Hell comic strip. The biggest treat for fans is that the main characters were actually voiced by their voice actors. As far as including characters from the show, the Simpsons arcade game stayed true for its fan base. Like any other beat-em-up game, The Simpsons was somewhat difficult. The computers would at times get decent hits, which took out a considerable amount of life. If you thought that having a friend jump in would make the game easier, think again. The game actually increased the number of bad guys present if more people are playing. Granted, these games were meant to be difficult to suck out more coins from players, but it's always nice to play with infinite continues on the PS3 and 360 versions. Being the first Simpsons video game, the Simpsons arcade game is a great part of the series' history, and is a perfect example of Konami's success in the arcade industry. Despite many hackneyed products slapped with the Simpsons name to make sales, the Simpsons arcade game stands as a fun game, and a perfect candidate for the Montgomery Burns Award for Outstanding Achievement in the field of excellence.